Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to English Real Practice. Today we are doing a deep dive into something, something you are probably doing right now.
Yeah, we are talking about screen time and, how we talk about our screen time.
Exactly. I mean, think about it like this. If you were to look at a physical version of a modern digital habit, it would probably look a lot like walking into your kitchen, right?
Oh, yeah. Walking in, opening the refrigerator door.
Just staring blankly at the shelves for like 30 seconds.
Finding nothing.
Closing it. And this is the crazy part, doing the exact same thing 5 minutes later.
Right, because we know there is no new food in there.
Exactly. We know it wasn't satisfying the first time, but we do it anyway.
Because, the refrigerator is just sitting right there. It's humming away.
It's just too easy. And today, we want to help you improve your English by looking at the actual words we use to describe this exact feeling.
Yeah, we are looking at a really fascinating English language lesson from the BBC.
Right. It's a short audio program where two speakers, Neil and Georgie, are just chatting about their own social media habits.
And it is so relatable. I mean, we aren't just going to review the vocabulary they teach.
No, we are going to unpack how this very simple conversation perfectly captures the modern, universal love-hate relationship we all have with our screens.
It is a total paradox. And it's amazing how our everyday language reveals our true intentions.
Totally. So think about the last time you promised yourself you would put your phone down. Did you tell yourself, I definitely will stop, or did a little maybe sneak in there?
It's always a maybe.
Always. And that hesitation is exactly what we are going to dissect today. Let's start with the core conflict Neil and Georgie introduce right at the top of their chat.
Right, the fundamental question of why we keep opening these apps in the first place.
So Neil asks Georgie a very direct question. He wants to know why she likes social media so much, since she admits to using it all the time.
And her response is just brilliant. It is a perfect articulation of cognitive dissonance.
Yes. She says she usually opens apps like TikTok when she's bored. Which, makes sense.
It does. But then she highlights this massive contradiction. She says the reason she likes the app is the exact same reason she dislikes it.
Oh, wow. Yeah?
She says the videos are highly entertaining and really fun to watch.
Right. That's the hook. That's why she opens it.
But in the exact same breath, she says she hates it because it's so addictive and it causes her to waste huge amounts of time watching those exact same fun videos.
The digital refrigerator all over again.
Yeah.
You open it because you have this mild discomfort of being bored.
You're just looking for a snack.
Exactly, a mental smack.
Yeah.
You know it's empty calories, but you consume it anyway. But my question is, if she knows this, why doesn't she stop?
Well, that's the thing. Georgie is super self-aware. She sees the trap clearly.
She calls it a time waster explicitly.
Right. But simply acknowledging that an app is a time waster doesn't actually give us the power to put the phone down.
No, it really doesn't. Why is that?
Because our cognitive awareness, our logical brain, is largely powerless against this kind of optimized behavioral design.
Oh, that makes sense. It bypasses our logic completely.
Exactly. Georgie's situation shows how the reward, which is that quick hit of entertainment, is delivered through the exact same mechanism as the punishment.
The punishment being the lost time and the feeling of addiction.
Yes. You can't separate them. To get the dopamine hit from the fun video, you just have to accept the risk of spiraling for an hour.
Right, they're bundled together. You don't get to choose just the entertainment without the addictive part.
And that lack of choice is what makes her frustrations so incredibly relatable. The friction to start scrolling is zero.
But the friction to stop is huge. It takes so much willpower.
It really does. Now, what's interesting is how her co-host, Neil, handles his own relationship with his phone in this conversation.
Oh, Neil's approach is fascinating. It's so different.
It is. When Georgie flips the script and asks Neil if he watches TikTok, his immediate reaction is super defensive.
Yeah, he says he tries not to. And his reason is just that he feels he is, quote, too old for it.
Which is such a funny excuse, and Georgie instantly rejects it. She tells him nobody is too old for internet videos.
I love that she called him out on that.
Me too. But look at the psychological firewall Neil is trying to build there.
What do you mean? Like a defense mechanism?
Exactly. By categorizing the addiction specifically as a generational issue, like it's just the young person's habit, he is trying to distance himself from the vulnerability Georgie just confessed to.
Oh, wow. I didn't think about it like that. So if it's just something kids do, his ego is totally protected.
Right. He is framing technology addiction as a demographic thing rather than a universal human weakness.
It's a huge deflection. And the irony is, Literally moments later in the chat, Neil openly admits that he is heavily attached to his own phone.
Yeah, just with different apps.
Exactly. He uses messaging apps and group chats constantly. I mean, we all pick our specific digital poison, right?
Yeah, but we are all drinking from the same cup.
That is so true. And that brings us to the real meat of the BBC lesson, the linguistic core of their conversation.
The vocabulary they use to talk about trying to manage all this screen time.
Yes. This is where the lesson shifts to its main focus, teaching the English words definitely, maybe, and probably.
And this is where the psychological gymnastics become so obvious.
It really is. So Neil asks Georgie point blank if she thinks she uses social media too much.
And her response has absolutely zero hesitation.
Not at all. She replies, I think definitely I use social media too much.
She uses the word definitely.
Right. And the source defines definitely as meaning something is certainly the case, with no doubt.
There is no ambiguity there. She fully admits she has a problem.
But, admitting a problem with that kind of absolute certainty gives you this weird, unique neurological reward.
Yeah, totally. When she says definitely, she gets a little sense of accomplishment, a tiny catharsis.
Like she's taking the brave first step by just acknowledging the issue.
Right, but acknowledging the problem doesn't require any actual effort. It doesn't change her behavior.
No, the real friction comes with Neil's very next question.
The follow-up. He asks her, do you have any plans to use your phone less?
And the moment he asks for an actual solution, all of that fierce certainty just vanishes.
It completely evaporates. She starts by saying she would love to use her phone less.
Which, is a nice sentiment.
It is nice. But then she pivots. She says, realistically, she will probably continue using her phone in the exact same way.
And she follows that up by saying maybe in the future she will use her phone's screen time limits.
Right. The BBC source defines maybe and probably as words we use when we are not sure or not certain.
But I want to push back on that a little bit.
Okay, what do you mean?
Well, the source says probably just means most likely, like a statistical calculation.
Sure, in a textbook sense.
Right. But in the context of Georgie saying, I will probably continue the same way, it doesn't feel like a statistic. It feels like she's just being brutally honest with herself.
Oh, I see.
Isn't probably functioning here as a kind of polite white lie, like a shock absorber for her own guilt.
That is an excellent way to frame it. Probably acts as a pressure release valve for her.
Yeah, because if she said, I definitely will not change my habits, the cognitive dissonance would just be too painful.
It would mean she is actively choosing to waste her time.
Exactly. By injecting the word probably, she leaves a tiny fraction of a percentage point of hope.
Hope that she might magically change someday, which softens the blow to her self-esteem.
It allows her to admit defeat without sounding defeated.
Right. And then she deploys the word maybe for her actual plan to fix things.
Maybe in the future I will put those limits.
The future is such a convenient place to store our good intentions, isn't it?
It really is. Future Georgie can handle the screen time limits. Present Georgie is going to keep watching TikTok.
It's funny, psychologists actually talk about this concept of the future self.
Oh, really? How does that work?
Well, brain imaging shows that when we think about our future selves, the areas of our brain that light up are the exact same areas that light up when we think about complete strangers.
Wait, really? A complete stranger?
Yes. So when Georgie says maybe she will set limits in the future, she is literally offloading the difficult, painful work of quitting onto someone else.
Wow. That makes so much sense. We all perform this exact same linguistic trick.
Oh, constantly.
Think about how often you hear someone say, I definitely eat too much junk food, but I'll probably start eating healthy next week.
Maybe after the holidays.
Exactly. The vocabulary beautifully mirrors our deep reluctance to disrupt our comfortable behaviors.
The BBC text captures this flawlessly. Georgie even explicitly states that it is, quote, just too difficult to reduce the screen time. It's so addictive.
So the grammar of uncertainty, the maybes and probablys, gives her the structural support to just live with an addiction she has already acknowledged.
That's a great way to put it.
But, this brings up another question. If the situation is this bleak, if we know it's a trap and our plans to quit are this weak, why don't we feel crushing guilt every single time we pick up our phones?
Right. There has to be an underlying value that keeps us tethered to these apps without feeling totally terrible about ourselves.
And the conversation between Neil and Georgie naturally arrives at that exact justification.
The antidote to the guilt, the human anchor.
Yes. Beneath the addictive algorithms and the mindless scrolling, the source reminds us that these devices serve a primal function.
Human connection. When Neil asks Georgie what she actually uses social media for, apart from the videos, she says her main reason is to stay in touch with friends.
And she gives a really grounded example from her own life.
Yeah, she talks about when she was living in Spain.
Right, she used social media to see what her friends back in England were doing and to show them her life in Spain.
It allowed her to maintain her position in her social web, even though she was geographically isolated.
Exactly. And Neil echoes this same sentiment. He mentions he uses messaging apps and group chats specifically for friends he cannot see in person.
Which introduces the most crucial piece of vocabulary in their entire discussion.
The phrasal verb, catch up with.
Yes. The source defines catch up with as speaking to someone, finding out what they've been doing, and bringing yourself up to date with the changes in their lives.
Right, since you last saw them. And thinking about this phrase, catching up, in a digital context, it feels remarkably similar to the process of syncing two devices.
Oh, I like that analogy. How do you mean?
Well, imagine two computers that have been offline for a few weeks. The moment they finally reconnect to the network, they have to perform a massive, rapid data transfer.
Right. They download all the mislogs, the software patches, the new files.
Exactly. They have to ensure both operating systems are on the same page. That is what human catching up is now. We are rapidly downloading the life updates of our friends.
The syncing analogy works perfectly. It highlights the transfer of vital data. But if we look at the evolutionary biology behind it, catching up is essentially digital grooming.
Digital grooming, like apes grooming each other.
Exactly. For early humans, maintaining social bonds and knowing the status of everyone in the tribe was quite literally a matter of survival.
Right. Isolation meant you were vulnerable.
So the urge to check the group chat isn't just about being bored. It is a biological imperative to ensure we are still part of the tribe.
Oh, that is fascinating. So it's deeply ingrained in us.
Precisely. Neil points out he uses these tools for people he physically cannot see. This is the redeeming quality of the technology.
The reason we forgive ourselves for the hours lost to the digital refrigerator.
Yeah, because occasionally we actually find real nourishment in there. The apps facilitate essential social maintenance.
And the fear of missing out on that vital syncing process, missing the updates from the tribe, is vastly more powerful than the desire to reduce our screen time.
That is exactly why Georgie will probably never stop using her phone the same way.
Because if she deletes the app, she doesn't just lose the funny videos. She severs a lifeline to her social network.
And the BBC text presents a surprisingly balanced view of this modern stalemate.
It really does. The phone is undeniably a trap defined by the absolute certainty of addiction.
And broken maybe resolutions?
Right. But it is also a bridge. And that bridge is built from group chats, status updates, and just the fundamental human need to not be forgotten.
It is a really complex negotiation wrapped up in a simple 5-minute English lesson.
Yeah, and at one point, Neil gently suggests to Georgie, maybe you should have a break or just relax a bit from her phone.
And Georgie completely agrees. She says, yes, Neil, I think you're right.
Do you interpret her agreement as an actual commitment to change?
Not for a single second.
No, it's just another polite white lie.
She agrees with the sentiment because it is logical, but we already know the gravitational pull of the group chat is just too strong.
She is trapped in the cycle. And the words she uses are just tools to make the cycle feel a little more comfortable.
Looking back at the entirety of their conversation, it really serves as a clear mirror for our own behaviors.
It really does. We start by acknowledging the paradox. We are drawn to the very things that make us feel like we are wasting our lives.
And we use the absolute certainty